What is going on, guys? Welcome to the Wednesday night live stream. So far, we got Adam on. How the heck are you doing, buddy?
What's going on, man? Doing good. How about yourself?
Wonderful, thank you. You are down in the reefer cave right now.
Yeah, we're down in the finished, the unfinished part of the basement where all the filter stuff is.
Nice.
And I got a little man cave attached that I'm kind of working on. Oh, there.
Beauty.
Yeah, man.
What's going on, Robert?
What's up, buddy?
How you doing?
I am doing pretty good. Let me try and get my headset going here and see if I can hear a little better.
Alrighty. Let me just resize this a little bit. Get everyone fitting on there a little better. Question, Adam, do you have your like starlight thing above the tank with the clouds and stuff?
No, that's kind of on the finished end. It's over here.
Okay.
The tank's kind of in the wall.
Alexa.
Yeah. I remember seeing them both in one photo before, so.
Oh yeah, I was sitting on the floor. I was down here, like looking up through the tank this way.
Okay.
It looks pretty neat. You know, the effect is much better. Like I said before, when the lights are dimmer, they're more made for that. But you can't really see anything down here with the camera on my phone with the lights down.
Yeah. That's awesome. Okay, so question for you. Now, some of those colonies in your tank are pretty big. Did you buy them big, or are they just growing out like crazy in your tank?
A few of them I bought big.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were kind of chatting before, I imported a box of mariculture acros just kind of see like what the experience was like.
Yeah.
But most of this stuff is tiny. It's been growing over like 2 years in my frag system, and I had a 60-gallon cube before this.
Nice.
So I kind of moved everything over to the 220 last July.
Beauty.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah.
One sec, see if Robert's on. I muted him at first.
Yep.
Robert, I muted you. Just unmute yourself whenever you're ready. Beauty. So down there you got. Question. How do you like the in-wall tank? That's something I've always debated, but I've never actually done it. Like, is it a pain to maintain it, or is it not bad at all because you just do it from reverse on the backside?
Okay. If I did it properly and I made the front hinge, which I have to do, like the front of my tank does not hinge. None of this hinges. So I have to do everything from the back. The maintenance isn't too big of a deal, but mounting corals in the front low, especially like small acros and stuff, is impossible. So I just can't do it right now.
Yeah.
I'm going to change that out to actually be hinged, and then it will flip up from the front.
That'd
and
be
then
cool.
I can just access everything right from there. But other than that, it's fine. I love being able to get to the back because I'm back.
Yeah.
Because it's so much easier to clean the back glass.
Oh, yeah.
So much easier to clean the back glass.
Yeah, that's very true. Now, is it weird trying to place stuff backwards, like when you're not seeing where it's going?
Yeah, man. I have to get my wife to help me out a lot. I have like these big ass like tongues.
Yeah.
Tumsy, and all these really, because it's a 30-inch deep tank, which everyone's like, like 30-inch deep tank. But I really wanted one because no one has them. So I was kind of happy with it, and I like the vertical height. Ideally, I want none of my rock goes over about halfway. I want all of these acros to be growing up nice and tall.
Nice.
So you're not really seeing, the underneaths of them constantly like you do in normal setups once they're really grown in. So we'll see how it goes. So far, it's been pretty cool. I haven't really had any issues with the length, aside from, like I said, getting in the front.
Yeah.
Down low is a pain in the butt, but
other than that, pretty good. Nice. That's one thing I learned over the time too, is to leave space above for corals to grow into. Like my first tank, the rock was so close to the top, and then every tank it got lower and lower and lower to like leave that coral growth.
Yeah, a lot of mine, I grew out in an 18-inch tall frag tank, so they were already like cresting the water when I moved them, and then they had like all this crazy space to grow up once I moved them all, and they kind of started to grow into it quickly. Like they almost looked like they were stunted.
Yeah.
In the shorter tank, like I almost waited too long to move them, but it worked out for the most part.
Nice. That's awesome. Robert, you just got to mute yourself because I can't hear you. I see the lips moving, but nothing's coming out. So just on Skype at the bottom. There you go. Oh, maybe not. Question in the chat. Opinions on roller mats. Which one do I go for? I use the Claire C one. I have the SK5000 on both my tanks. That's my...
Hi. Can you hear me now, Dev?
Sure can. Welcome, buddy.
Yeah, there you are, man.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Cool. technical difficulty here. I ain't been on. Usually use a telephone. Had to get everything last minute.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Clarity. Go ahead.
Yeah. Filter rollers. What about you guys? Do you guys socks? Nothing. Filter rollers. What do you guys go with?
On my 220, I've got the Aquamax roller mat.
Yep.
I only just installed it in January. Before that, I was literally just using a filter, like one single filter cup with floss in it for the 220, and I was changing every 3 days. It was just kind of being a pain in the butt. So I upgraded. I like it so far. I'm still kind of evaluating like how much money it's going to cost me to use it versus floss, because floss is
Cheap.
zero for the most part. Yeah, it's nothing. I have like a huge box. I bought like 2 years ago. But I like it so far. Like the maintenance is awesome. It's really hasn't like there's been no issues. It just works. I don't, I've had to change one roll so far. The damn rolls are sold out. You can't get them. So I had to buy Clarity rollers and like re-spool them onto the Aquamax because the spindle isn't this big. It's like half this size.
Yeah.
So so that was fun. But whatever. It's it is what it is. But I like it so far. It's cool. It works. No issues.
No, that's fair.
I just used the Coral View clear. I had like a 3 socks I was running before, and I just like condensed them down, put stoppers in, put one clear on it, and it pretty much does the trick for what I need.
Nice.
It's just a 90-gallon. I got the sump that I bought from a guy come off like a 240. I mean, it's like a 46 by 18, I guess. I mean, it's the whole sump is the whole bottom of the tank.
Yeah.
So it's like it's just humongous, which I didn't need any room down there to put stuff. I hang it on the wall. I don't have a spouse, so
You can do whatever you want in the house.
I'm a single man, so I can stick it. It'd be an eyesore for it, as long as the tank looks good.
Whole feature wall of the house is just reefing gear.
Exactly, the whole half of the living room.
That's awesome. Hey, if you can, it's good.
Not saying it won't change in the future. I have a spare bedroom that my daughter's in at the time, and my objective is to put like a 240 or something in the wall and just have me a tank room behind it.
Nice.
Yes, that's
walk
what
into
I'm
the living
standing
room.
in. Yes.
Walk into the living room and only thing I don't like about it is I like the peninsula style because you can see all 3 sides of the tank. You're not just looking at one side, or if you bring it to the corner of the wall, you get your long view, plus you get a short view of the side of it. But I like to have it in a room to where all my stuff's back there. The water making station and all this equipment, and shut the door and it disappears.
Yeah. It's your pristine reef photo living on the wall.
Right, exactly, like a frame picture.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so Adam, on yours, you said you might put like an opening door on the top just to make it easier to maintain the front down the road?
Yeah, for sure, man. 100%. That's definitely coming. Probably sooner rather than later. It's easy enough to do. I just have to cut the studs out in front. They're only about 18 inches long right now anyway. And just either panel it or just, like I said, I'm going to do hinges and just make it so it just flips up, and then I can put a little hook on the other side to hold them. Yeah.
Perfect. Oh, that'd be good.
Yeah, man.
I'm stealing ideas for if I ever do an in-wall one down the road.
Dude, in-wall's the way to go.
Yeah.
The way to go, especially for a big tank.
Definitely if you got a big tank, you got to make it to where you can put like hinges or something where you can raise the front up and get into it, because sometimes you need to stand in the front and get into it instead of everything from the backside.
Yeah, it's a lot of looking and walking around and looking and walking around, and it is. It'd
be nice to have just a hinge, something where you can just fold up and reach in from the front and fold it back down, make like a frame or something.
You just got to video call yourself so you can have one phone like staring at the tank and the other one you're like placing it with.
Yeah, I've done that before. I use my wife's cell phone and I just FaceTime. Yeah, I FaceTime myself.
That's awesome. I totally do the same thing.
Yeah. It's funny.
Beauty. Okay, filter rollers. Are you guys happy with the ones you have overall? Any complaints? Are they good?
No, man. I like mine. I wouldn't. I'm gonna keep using it, and I'm gonna keep using it. I'll be happier once the rolls come back in stock, so I can order them like a case of them, so I don't have to worry about it. But yeah, I'm happy with it so far.
Nice.
If I could cut my 3-hole sock holder out and put a Clarity in there, I'd do it in a skinny minute. It's just cramped under there, but I love my clear. Forget the filter socks, man. I give up washing them, and it's just a hassle. A bucket, keep a bucket over there, and you got to rinse them out, and you got to put them in the washer. I give up on filter socks.
Yep.
No fish tank laundry.
Yeah,
No fish tank laundry.
I did that for a long time. It got old. I had like a 5-gallon bucket just full of nasty socks, and once it's full, you finally get around to washing them all at once. And
No.
I still got a 5-gallon bucket full of socks in there. Once I put this in, I just think I throw them away, dump them in the trash can, be done with it.
Yep.
Give up on them.
All right. Okay. So, question in the chat. Hello, all. Can you discuss 3 pieces of equipment you consider the most non-essential but must-have? Specific brands, models would be a +2. Is there anything that you don't need but it's just like nice to have? Filter roller. That's fine.
The filter roller.
Filter roller.
Yeah, the filter roller.
Mm-hmm.
Like the filter roller.
Probably a UV. I mean, a lot of people can go through and not use a UV sterilizer, but I like it for the peace of mind of my fish. Just in case. Plus, it makes keeps the water looking really clear.
Yep. Clarity.
Yeah, I have a UV also. Yep, I like UV.
Yep. Do either of you use ozone or just UV?
I don't use ozone, but I'm thinking about getting one.
Yeah. I'm always curious.
No ozone here.
Okay.
No here.
UV gets you pretty close for clarity wise. Like it makes a big difference as well. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. All right, one more. What's something else that's not essential but nice to have?
I'm looking. It's funny because I run my systems kind of bare bones, dude.
Control.
I guess the Apex. I have a lot of money invested into the Apex controller, but that doesn't really pay off until you've got like a lot of money into the system. Like it's like insurance basically is what it's for. So
that's fair.
Yeah, but yeah, I think that's a fair one. The controller.
Yeah, no, that's a good one.
I agree.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Convenience more than anything.
It makes the hobby a lot easier. I'll tell you that much.
It's true.
It's a lot easier than 20 years ago. I'm telling you.
Yeah, man. I've been using Neptune stuff for like 14 years since I started in the hobby. I saved up when I was a little kid and got used when they were still using the metal box stuff, not the plastic stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I've used their stuff forever. They've always been good to me. I've never really had too many issues with their with their products, but I kind of like off reviews and stuff before I buy in. Some of the sketchier stuff like the feeder, I don't really go for that, or the ATK but the bread and butter stuff, I like their stuff. Yeah. They've been good. Yeah.
Back in the day, I built my own controller with like a Arduino and like power bar and all this stuff, and I was looking at adding all the probes in it, and the little like stamps from Atlas Scientific and all the stuff for the probes was more than it cost me to just buy used Apex when I bought an Apex. So I killed that project.
My first one was the Aqua Controller Junior with the X10 controllers.
Yep.
I ordered it off of eBay back in the day, man. I started running a calcium reactor, hooked it up. I needed to monitor my pH. To put my calcium reactor on there, and I still got it. It's packed away. I mean, when I first started this tank up, that's what I was using. I was just using the head unit, just the temperature and the pH. Wasn't using the controllers, but still give me a window to until I got my new Apex. And then when that come, that was just like, wow, that's just so much better. So it's fantastic.
That's awesome. Now, okay, so you have the newer Apex. Do either of you guys use power monitoring? I find a lot of people don't, but I find you could do some cool automation off of it.
I use it insofar as it'll turn my protein skimmer off if the return wattage on the pump is below like 5 watts, like something stupidly low that it would never ever be. I do that because I'm constantly not turning the pumps off from the Apex. I'm constantly hitting the feed button on the controller. And I noticed like my skimmer kept overflowing, it wasn't shutting off. So I used the power monitoring to turn the skimmer off, and I think that's really it. I tried it on the skimmer, but it bounced around too much to really be all that useful. Fair. I do use it for the return pump for sure. And also it'll tell you like if you have your lights, like you can have it set so like if you're not at the house, you'll know for sure the lights are on. Like if you don't have cameras on, you can put the power monitoring on if you have your lights plugged into the Apex too. I don't do that, but because I have camera down here, but that works too. I did that in the past.
Nice.
I don't have mine controlling anything, but I do have the power monitoring on, so it just like monitors. I can put my graph up, see my graph if I'm starting to drop or the pump's starting to get dirty, but I don't have it sending me any notifications or turning anything off. I got it turns the protein skimmer off whenever a pH hits 8.5. Because I'm keeping like
spoiled
8.5, 8.5. It might go to 8.4. But with the CO2 scrubber, it comes on at nighttime, and during the day it cuts off. And man, this is 8.5. I've been pretty solid. I ain't had really a bad swing. If I forget to plug the CO2 scrubber up at nighttime when the light starts dimming off, it might dip a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna I found a couple things on Amazon, just your valve, your 24-volt valve that you can plug in. Just automatically turn on or turn off the CO2 scrubber at nighttime.
Nice.
I don't have to worry about it anymore. Because if you're going to do something, I'm going to plug it up later. Bound and determined, you're going to forget it one time or another. Sooner or later.
So true. Now, I wish I had that problem of too high a pH. I'm always on the battle trying to up it.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, 8.5, spoiled.
I love it, 8.5. And then see, when I first started the tank, it was in the 7s, and then it's just gradually got. I just used Alpha Reef is the only thing that I dose. I don't dose anything else. Amino acids I might hit it with, but Alpha Reef is dosed like every hour, 2-point-something milliliters every single hour. And I found it's that, and I guess the refugium's so big, and because the sump's so big, it's got like a red Ogo or pom pom, I think is what they said it was, and Chato mixed together, and my nutrients have stayed solid.
Perfect.
Constant like 10. I think my phosphate last time I checked was like 0.8. Well, not 0.8. It was like 0.3. It was gradually starting to drop. It was a little bit higher, but just trying to keep that ratio. And no matter what my nutrients is, I found that helps.
Yeah, definitely does.
Yeah.
All right. Do you fight the good pH battle, Adam?
My tank's in the basement, so anyone who's had a tank in the basement knows that it's an issue. I'm not dropping too low, but I'm not anywhere near where I want it to be. Like I max around 8.1 to 220, and I'm putting almost 5 gallons of calcwasser in that tank a day.
Wow.
5 gallons. It's closer to 4.5. Hold on. Let's check the more. It's 5.5 ml a minute.
That's a good chunk.
Fully saturated calc. Yeah. So and just with that, I'm hitting 8.1.
Nice. Okay, nice.
And it dips down to like 7.9. So it's not, I'm not like crazy about it, but during the summer it's much better because I have a like an air conditioning system down here that exchanges air with outside.
Yeah.
But like I'm running piston drive air pumps with air stones. I'm sucking air through the skimmer. It don't matter. It doesn't matter. In a basement, it doesn't matter. I might try the scrubbing. I don't know. That depends.
Are you using a CO2 reactor or anything on your tank, or?
On my tank, no. This tank is just straight. It gets calcwasser, and it gets a little bit of Microbacter 7.
Nice.
It gets a little bit of vodka.
Yep.
And it gets a little bit of Acropower. Yeah, Acropower.
Nice.
And then I feed corals with like Benepets and yeast and all that cool stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
But, yeah. But yeah, I mean, I like it higher. I'd like it higher. I think I might do an air exchanger next year. I'm trying to get away. I didn't want to have to do it, but like my pH is so much better in the summer and spring because the windows are open down here and everything. So I think I'll probably pull the trigger for next spring and then or next fall, and then it'll be all taken care of there. But
nice.
Yeah.
It definitely. I can try to think what I got when I added mine. It was probably about a good 0.1 boost, anyways. Might be more, but it depends how high of it running. But I don't know.
Yeah, when I added the fresh air feed, like it made a difference. But it's like 0.1 when I was at 8. I wanted to average up closer to 8.3. So I might once this is. I mean, I'm pretty much max for calc. I can't put any more in there.
That's a lot of calc.
It's pretty much max evaporation, and it's like 30. If I'm looking at my dehumidifier, 35% relative humidity down here, so it evaporates quite a bit.
Yep.
But I'm maxed out, so I might go that slurry route that kind of division everyone's whether they want to do it or not. But it looks good to me, so I might try that.
Mm-hmm.
It's better than me having to do 2-part because then I got full balling method, and I'm not going to run it without doing full balling.
Well, calc is just so simple. If you could dose one thing, right, and it covers your bases.
Yeah,
well, that's
man.
why I love Alpha Reef, man. Just one thing and one dose and pump.
Yeah.
And that's everything.
I'd have to sell my house if I was using Alpha Reef.
You got your big tank. Yeah.
But I started the frag system. I started on Alpha Reef. That stuff's awesome. I still use the Tropic Marin trace elements, like the ones that you do on the DIY Alpha Reef.
Yep.
I've been starting to use those trace elements because my last ICP came back with like no trace elements in the water at all.
Oh, dang.
Wow.
So yeah, it sucked. So yeah, I've been dosing it like crazy for the last like 10 days, and I got another ICP coming in to see. So,
Nice.
but yeah, I used it when I was doing the DIY Ulf Reef, and I happened to have a bunch of it left over, so I was lucky. But it's Ulf Reef was cool. It was really neat. It was neat how like it's like a delayed alkalinity curve. I have the Trident, so it was like really confusing when I first used it, and then I was like, oh, I hit up Lou at Tropic Marin, he kind of explained it, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. That makes like
isn't it like
sense. It was really neat.
Is it like a bit delayed after you dose it before you see the effect, something like that with it?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
It's not immediate. It won't affect your pH until it really affects. I mean, like I said, it affects my pH for the good. 8.5 is what I stay at. You know, my scrubber. I found that there's I don't know if it's still on eBay, but there was like a 5-gallon CO2 media for veterinarian use. I mean, it was like $100 for 5 gallons of CO2 scrubbing material, which is a lot cheaper than bulk resupply buying by the bag.
Yep.
And,
Little bag, yeah.
Yes, I mean, it's expensive if you buy it that way, but man, I change mine like once a month, and it's the ice cap. I guess it's the 4-inch.
Yep.
It's
The big
5-inch.
chill.
Yeah, I mean, once a month. Every night is when it runs. Of course, I got me, my daughter, and a dog in the house. I don't have a lot of people in my house. She stays in her room most of the time with her door shut now. You know how teenage girls are. I stay back there in my room with my door shut, unless I'm out here sitting at the tank. But I can't see. I can tell when I'm at home all day, like on a Saturday, compared to when I go to work. That's when the thing. If I leave the CO2 scrubber up, man, I'll be in here like on my apex, like hitting and making sure the protein skimmers turn off, because it just keeps going. I mean, it's like, man, how high is too high? Like, Cunningham last week, saying, man, I'm roaring over here.
No kidding. But yeah,
So,
I was laughing when you said when you're at work, same thing. I mean, like me and my wife both work from home, so there's always people here. But like if we have guests or something over and a bunch of people are hanging out, you just see the pH tank that day.
oh, tank it.
Yep.
You definitely have to put your scrubber on then when you got a company coming over.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Tell them to exhale outside.
Yeah, hold your
That's right.
breath. Give everyone a big straw
Yeah.
out the window. Where can you get that media? If you just Google soda lime or like soda lime pellets, you'll find it. There's tons of places. It's
Like
for,
I found a good thing on eBay. It was a 5-gallon of veterinarian grade, not your made for humans, but it's still the same. I think maybe the granulators. It's more of a pellet than just like shards of that, but it still works the same. Just take it and shake it up. If you start seeing a channel start running up where it turns pink or purple,
give it a shake.
just give it a shake, and man, it's good. Look on eBay.
Yeah.
Start with eBay,
Oh yeah.
and then work your way down from there.
Yeah, veterinary suppliers and like dive shops.
Dive shops
dive
tend to be a
supplies
bit
on
more
there, then, too.
expensive than the medical
Yeah,
one, oddly.
hobby
But
lab.
so it's used in rebreathers, so dive shops, veterinary or medical supply places, because they'll use it for anesthesia machines. So Stevens.ca is where I ordered my last one from. Then before that was just some other random medical site. But yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay, a couple questions that came up. What's your favorite coral? Do you guys have any favorites? Favorite types or favorite coral specifically?
I mean, I really like. I mean, if you were to look at all these, like I have everything, but I really like acros. I'm really into acros. I like them a lot. I like the challenge.
Mm-hmm.
They're a real pain in the butt sometimes, but
Yes, they are.
It's cool. It's really cool. I really like it.
If you had a tank with only one specific type of acro, like what would you pick?
Damn, I like a Formosa.
Yeah.
Like like a stag, something like that.
Yeah.
I think like a tabling acro by itself in one tank would kind of look weird.
That's fair.
But tabling acros are my favorite.
They're
A regular reef tank, they are my favorite by far. And they're also the most picky and stingy, usually. But yeah.
Yep. What do you think, Robert?
Probably my elegance would be my favorite. 'Cause it's been.
Yeah, good choice.
And then whenever, especially since the clowns started hosting, I had the clowns like the Oscillaris, 2 black Oscillaris, and they were in there for a year and a half and didn't host with nothing. And then all of a sudden the female just decides she's going to host with this. The male, he stays up and he's hosting like a Superman Monty. I don't know, underneath the bird nest. He comes down and visits her every once in a while, but he pretty much stays away. But
Got their own house.
don't know if you could.
Yeah, I see the big elegance. Nice.
Nice.
She started hosting it. That just makes it nice because you walk in and that's one of the first things that people's going to look at and they're like, oh man, that's just
Yeah.
sequential of hearing saltwater clownfish, anemone. They think it's anemone, most people, if they're just not reef savvy enough.
Yeah.
But no, that's a coral.
Yeah, big elegance always looks awesome.
Yeah, elegants are cool. I like them.
Yeah. If I was to do acro only, I'd probably do a millipora tank just because I love those big shaggy polyps. A tank of just nothing but millies would look sweet.
I have none.
And then I've half done it, but I would, if I did more like an easier tank, I'd probably do just like a sea of rock flowers. Those will be pretty awesome.
Oh,
rock flowers would be cool. Hell yeah, a whole tank covered in them.
Yeah,
that'd be nice.
I'm tempted to just add a ton to my big.
That was pretty much covered already.
Yeah,
you had that tank.
Yeah,
you still have it, or
no? When I moved up, I got rid of that one and moved it all into a bigger tank. But yeah, it was like 20 gallon. But now I got the 146 7-foot tank beside me. I'm like, that'd be sweet covered in rock flowers.
Oh, yeah.
That'd take a while to stock up, but
yeah,
full sand bed rainbow one day.
That'd be pretty amazing.
Yep, exactly. The clown hosts a dinner plate size Hollywood chalice. Yeah, clowns host almost anything, to be honest. Like, they'll just pick something and they'll be all over it.
Anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
My buddies host, what are those Halides from WWC that grow like crazy that you can't even sell them anymore? Nirvanas? Yeah, Nirvanas.
Yeah, what's up with those ones? Those were so expensive, and I bought 2 of them, and they grew like a weed. I'm like, why are these expensive? They grow way too fast.
They grow faster than GSP. It's ridiculous. And they sting stuff, too. Like, I'm lucky I had them located on a little plug, and I kind of caught how quick they grew, and I just got rid of them. I gave them away to somebody. But, yeah, my buddy has a huge colony, and his clown is in it so much. Like, the clown is, like, constantly, it's a regular orange clown, but it's black.
Yeah.
Just from the pally stinging him up all the time. He doesn't feel it, I guess, but he's got like these crazy. He looks like almost like he's burnt constantly all the time because he's always all up in there.
Always getting stung from something, eh? So,
yeah, I guess so.
One funky thing. So clowns usually, because I see people ask all the time, it's like, why is my clown eating whatever coral? But you'll see them like nibble on it, and they're actually doing that to like absorb the sting and get used to it. So it's kind of funky. Like sometimes you'll see a clown just like sucking on an enemy tentacle or like a whatever. So it's always kind of funky to see.
Well, they also supposed to be like the clowns. Their slime coat is sugar based and different than a protein based on a fish. That's why the stuff that stings and sticky, when it'll stick to something high protein, it'll stick to it, but it won't stick to a clownfish because. Protein, like I said, I'm not exactly sure. I just dabbled into it, but it's something about the sugar base instead of a normal fish slime coat, however that goes.
Oh wow!
Huh, that's kind of funky. I never actually knew that one. So that's interesting.
Yeah, I haven't heard that before.
Cool. Jake Speed. I have 2 XR30 Gen 4s. Need to upgrade. Do you recommend Gen 5s or a Sky? Why not just add one more Gen 4? It'd be cheaper. Buy a used one. You'll have like a whole slew of light from all that overlap.
There you go.
Okay.
I agree.
What are you guys rocking for lighting? While we're on the topic, I see some light bars over there in Adam's tank.
I have the 220. I've got Noob Psych V3s. I have 3 of them.
Nice.
And I have 4 Ally Express 470 nanometer bars, the ones that Jim tested.
Yep.
Telegram. I have those, and I want to try Luca's bars, those Quanta Pros.
Yep.
I might, because he has a 6-foot bar, so it'll cut down a bunch of the cords over the fish tank.
Yep.
And they're supposed to be a lot stronger too, so I think I might grab 2 of those. The frag system has Noob Psych V2s.
Nice.
And more Ally bars. Just I think there's 2 over the SPS side, and then it's just the Noops over the LPS side.
Nice. Those Noops are actually like pretty solid bang for your buck for the lights. Like they're pretty, they're awesome little lights for the price.
Yeah, man, they're awesome. They're really good lights.
Mm-hmm. All right, Robert, what are you rocking?
Mine's two A360Xs with 4 T5s.
Nice.
I guess what BRS called the gold standard. It's been rock solid.
Yep.
I love the shimmer. I'm all about the shimmer. That's
Yeah.
what got me going 20 years ago. Was I just happened to walk into a pet shop, and they had a 29-gallon tank. I still got it sitting on my back porch, actually. 29-gallon, and they had a 150 metal halide over it with a couple T12 regular fluorescent actinics in there. And you just walk by it, man, and just the shimmer was like looking down at the beach and seeing your caustic lines. I was like, what is that? And they're like, that's a new thing. It's a reef tank. I'm like, reef tank? I looked at it and I stared at it for I don't know, an hour or something in the pet shop, and I was like, can I make a payment on it? I like to put it on layaway.
Yeah.
So, and that was my dabble, and that's where I started with, was a 29-gallon with a metal halide over it, and it went to a 55 for a little bit, and then a 75, and I 75 for years, and then 90, and now I'd like to go bigger, like you guys size tanks. I like to get into where like Adam or Andrew Sandler. That's my dream right there. So you have to go diving in with your wetsuit on, but
yeah, man.
I don't have that kind of money, but we can always dream big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There, I'll see if I can find a photo of it later. My one buddy here owns an LFS, and he's installing or setting up this tank for somebody, and it's like 10 feet long, like 5 feet deep. It's like this big crazy insert. Yeah. It's like the guy standing beside the tank, and he just looks like tiny. He's like ridiculous how big it is. I'm like, oh, if only.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
That's what's so cool about the hobby, man. It's like it breaches like literally every spectrum of from how much you want to put into it to size of the fish tank. It's crazy. It's literally like if you dream it, it's probably out there somewhere.
Yeah,
It's nuts.
One of the so Adam Sandler's obviously like crazy for a home one. The other one, Jimmy Pop Carlson's tank. He has his old.
Jimmy's tank is sick.
Yeah, so his old tank. So when I went to Vegas like 3 or 4 years ago for MACNA, whenever that was, and his tank at home was like one of the nicest ones I've ever seen for like an in-home tank, because I think it was 8 feet by 3 or 4 feet front to back, 8 feet long, and like 2 feet deep. But it was just packed with like every nice acro you can possibly imagine was in there, and it was just like wall to wall, like any acro you can name, he had it. Like. And it was just healthy, happy, packed. And now he upgraded this to this like 20-foot racetrack tank that spans like multiple rooms of his house. It's just insane.
It's huge. It's got the bull nose on the end that goes into like the guest. Yeah, dude, it's sick.
It's like, this won't fit. Let me expand it and make it run through multiple rooms. Like, it's so crazy. I gotta go see it one day.
Yeah, I think Jimmy would pay to breathe underwater if he could. Like that dude is like he is in. He's in deep into the hobby. He's crazy. Him and Andrew's the same. It's cool that that people with that kind of like expendable income spend it on the hobby, so we can kind of experience these kind of things with them, and they share it with everyone. Yeah. It's really cool. I love it. I love everything from the little fish bowls that people put these little tiny biota gobies in, all the way up to these giant tanks. It's really, really cool. It's really cool.
It's true, and it's so crazy, like just how far it expands and what you can do. No.
Yeah, man. Anything. Yeah, it is. It's limitless.
So Robert, you're going through upgrade bigger to bigger and bigger and bigger. Is your reason for upgrading lack of coral space or something else?
Pretty much lack of coral space.
Okay.
I mean, you get that, and just be able to have more fish. Fish. I always had trouble back 20 years ago keeping fish. Fish was always difficult. You buy fish, it seemed like they live, and then something happened, they die. And this time I've had the best luck with fish on this tank that I've had any time. I pretty much live aquaria, got them all through them, Divers Den, and done just everything at one time. A lot of people said, we just one fish at a time, one fish at a time. I put like 6 fish, just because I didn't want to add one tank, and then you can't add any more, or you have to put them in an acclimation box or something, which I got one of those. But I have 4 tanks in a 90-gallon, and they all get along just fine. The sailfin is the biggest butt of them all, and he's grew faster and the biggest hog of them all. But I love my tanks. I like to get something bigger for them.
Yeah. No, that's fair. With tangs, especially if they're the same species, like it is almost better to add them all at once because then no one has established territories and there's less chance of them scrapping. Then they're all in the same boat. Where if they're established, it's usually a bit of a battle for the first 4 or 5 days until they settle in.
Yeah. It helps when you're starting the tank up new too to load those algae eating fish in quick and get them in there. And I've like in this system, there's some algae that pops up like all tanks, but like I never had an algae phase.
I've never had an algae.
Because they just eat it.
Cyano.
It comes up.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah.
Cyano's the only trouble that I've had. Swings in, it swings out, swings in, swings out. I get one. I'm not big on putting any kind of too much chemicals in the tank if it can't be done naturally. Yeah. Everybody gets on the forums. They're like, "What can I do to take care of this hair algae?" I mean, you got any snails? You got, they don't have no algae eaters whatsoever. And
use these and pull it out. Hemostats.
Or that.
Yeah.
Gotta work.
I'd rather buy a fish and let him eat it.
Yeah, that too. My fish have like 3 days from when I see a spot, dude. Like if it's not gone in 3 days, like no, I'm pulling it out. I don't know. But they usually get to it. They're good. I got a few urchins from Chad Vossen too. The blue tuxedos. I just got 4 of those. Because I've noticed some spots my fish are getting lazy, that they're not getting in between the acros and stuff. So I figure those little tiny urchins would be able to clean that up. They're pretty neat. Pretty neat. I haven't had urchins in a long time.
If you watch where they are, it's like a perfect white line underneath where they've eaten. Like they're crazy grazers.
Yep. It's exactly like that. And they're so small. These are like they're maybe like the size of a nickel when you get them.
Oh,
they're
super
so
tiny.
Yeah, they're so tiny.
Will they eat the coralline algae too?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Not straight down to the rock.
They seem. I mean, there's so much of it. Like my tank. Yeah, the whole bottom is already, because it's bare bottom, so the whole bottom's covered in coralline already. So what they eat, you can't really tell. It's gone and back covered in 10 days anyway. But they mow down algae, that's for sure.
Just don't put them. Not if you have an acrylic tank though, because they can munch on your acrylic.
Nope, that's a bad idea.
Yep.
Yeah, that's definitely a bad idea.
I've kicked around the idea because my coralline's grown so much, just starting just encrust the rock. So you lose your porousness of the rock. So I got coralline algae growth. If I don't clean my backside of my tank is terrible. But I mean, if I go a week and don't scrape my tank, I got coralline algae growing on my glass. I mean, especially keeping that high pH. I mean, it just grows like crazy. I mean, it's roaring over here.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, once that stuff starts growing, it takes off.
That's what people say. I don't have no coralline algae. I'm like, give it time. You'll be cussing it. Yeah,
just wait.
Scrape it off your glass.
Yeah, don't be in a rush. It's just more work.
Exactly, more work.
Exactly.
True.
All right, Adam. So bare bottom. How do you like bare bottom versus sand?
Okay, so the frag system, the 100-gallon frag system's been about 2 years, and this tank that was set up 220 last July, I'll never put sand in the fish tank again.
Really?
Never. It's done. Not unless I specifically want, a sand burrowing fish, which I really don't care about. But if I ever did, I would do it for that. But in a regular mixed reef tank, no way, dude. It's so much easier.
Really?
You
think so, eh?
Oh my God, it's so much easier. I don't know if it's the combination of how I did it, because I set the tank up, I loaded the tank up with corals, I loaded the tank up with fish, I put one rock that's been in a saltwater system of mine forever. I've been in this 13 years, so this rock has just been going to tank to tank to tank. I used one rock, I moved that over because I was kind of afraid of pests at the time, and it's just been cooking. Like we were talking before, every once in a while I have an acro kind of, but that happens all the time. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, stuff just grows and the flow just keeps the dirt off. I have no nutrient issues whatsoever. I got worried when I put the roller mat on because I thought I was going to drop too low phosphate nitrate. So I actually only run the roller mat for 12 hours because I'm still kind of nervous about that. But there's no refugium on this tank. There's no additive. There's no nothing. It's just it's a skimmer, a roller mat, and the corals and the fish. That's it. So if I need to put a refugium on here, I can do that. But it hasn't needed it yet, so I just haven't I haven't messed with it. So
yeah.
But I think that's all with the flow. flow is really important with acro tanks, and it's so much easier to crank the flow in this thing when you're not worrying about sand getting whipped up all over the place.
I found
This thing, it's got 2 gyres and 2 MP40s on it now. And they're 100% pretty much all day.
on my water box, I have the 2 MP60s on the one side. And when I first added them to the tank, I could only run them about 50% or else they blow the sand. And now I'm up to about 75 or 80%. I just slowly, like every month or so, you up at a couple more percent as stuff settles in. But yeah, it took a while to be able to raise it up there with the sand, not making dunes.
Yeah, I can imagine like people maybe with smaller tanks, bare bottom having issues, but like the bare bottom never accumulates any like algae or anything. If it does, the tangs literally clean it right off. Tangs aren't cleaning off sand, so you have that benefit. And I don't know, man. It seems easier. I siphon the tank out, maybe once every 2 weeks. One little spot where all the stuff collects, and that's it. So I like the bare bottom much better.
Oh, that's fair.
And you can't, like I said, I have acros on the bottom glass, so it's like I can't, So who cares about sand? I got corals down there.
Fair enough. How about you, Robert?
Yeah.
Do you I have mine set up, my 90 gallon set up like a peninsula style. So I got 3 MP40s on a 90 gallon. I got 1 on the end and 2 on the opposite end. All mine's pretty much cranked up wide open. The front of my tank is all LPS. The back side of my tank is SPS, and pretty much it don't have no sand because of the flow there, but the front side of the tank has got sand. So you can walk around and you got 2 different tanks. You got some with sand and you got some without sand. So because the SPS wants all the flow. So that's how I work. Don't stick nothing on that backside but plates and SPS.
That's the most even way to do it. Half and half.
That's what it is. It's right in the middle. It's all blown out. But setting from this side of the tank, it looks like you got sand. But you look at it from the other side, you don't have no sand.
Oh, that's funny.
It works.
I aesthetically, I prefer sand. I do agree without sand. You can obviously crank your flow more, which has its advantages. I found now when I had my, frag tank mode of the office tank, I definitely noticed I had more weird bacteria, algae, and different stuff. Where with sand, it does seem to lead to less weird things like that. I don't know if it's just a stability thing or just because it has that extra buffering capacity. But at least with mine, I had more weird things pop up than I had when I had it bare bottom versus tanks I've had with sand. So I don't know. Might have been my tank being buggery, but that's one thing I noticed.
I've heard that kind of as an on average, kind of thing. I never had that issue though. But again, my situation's odd. Most people aren't setting up a fish tank and putting 30 acro colonies in it in 2 weeks. But I think that has a lot to do with it also. I think the corals have a lot of that bacterial diversity.
100%.
And newer hobbyists that are kind of told all the time, go slow, or people that are or people that are trying not, they're nervous, they don't want to kill things. I think that kind of compounds the issue. Bare bottom definitely doesn't help that at all. I can tell you that. But I personally haven't really had too many issues on that front. I also dose Microbacter 7. I don't know. That's one product where someone asked, well, what does it do? And I don't know. I've used it since literally the day they put that stuff on the market, dude. I've been using that forever. It's the one product I will not use. And I never have cyano. I don't think I've seen a patch of cyano in 6 years. I don't know. I don't understand if that does that or what the deal is. I've never really had that. I've had other issues, but never cyano or anything. And they say specifically it's supposed to be pretty good for that. So
nice.
Keep everything balanced. But that's it. It's Microbacter 7. I don't know if that helps at all too, but.
Yeah, it does say it's supposed to help fight cyano and whatnot. So, if you're dosing the good bacteria, it's going to help prevent some of the bad stuff from setting a foothold. So, makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you you said you run UV, right?
I do.
Yes.
Do you turn off UV when you dose that stuff or just dump it in?
No,
just dump it in?
Dump it in.
Yeah, okay. Just curious.
I'll turn the skimmer off for maybe I'll clean the skimmer when I dose it. So the skimmer's off for maybe 40 minutes as I'm cleaning things down here. So I only dose it once a week. But other than that, I don't.
That's fair.
I don't bother. Yeah.
All right. Ed's asking, would any of you go back or try halides if heat and electricity was an issue? If electricity was free and it didn't put off a ton of heat, why not?
I used to use halides. I would agree. And my power pretty much is free because I have solar panels.
Oh,
guys.
well, that's
But
all right.
yeah, but the heat's a big issue for the heat's a bigger issue for me than the electricity is. Again, I have solar panels on the house.
For the whole house? Whole house is
I
solar?
have solar panels on the whole. Oh yeah, the whole
Nice.
house. I put a ridiculous solar system on last spring because I knew what was coming as far as this hobby goes. So I wanted to eliminate that expense completely, and we just moved into the house too, so kind of made a financial, windfall for the early in the house and
Awesome.
keep it the whole way. So yeah, it's worked out awesome so far. I haven't had a power bill in since I put it in last spring.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
they
awesome.
owe me $200. They owe me $200.
I say you sell
Solid.
back to the grid whenever you make more.
Yes. Yeah. Net metering. It's awesome.
I'm very, very seriously thinking about getting solar on the house. I got a lot of it. Pretty much evening sun I don't get, but I get all full day all the way over until the evening time. Got good eastern sun,
Nice.
east facing house.
Yeah, I learned the solar companies. I mean, if you use like a reputable one anyway, we use SunPower. They kind of like sandbag your numbers when they tell you like what the house is going to produce, so you don't get your expectations too high. Like I was only supposed to generate like 80% of the power that I make. That was what like the system that I designed for the house for them to do. And it's like it's been just about a year, and they owe me money. So obviously it's producing over 100%, or they wouldn't owe me money at this point in time. So yeah, like even through the winter, I think I only just stopped sending them electricity in like the middle of February. Like even January, I was generating power in New York. It was ridiculous.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's cool. But we don't use electric for heat or anything like that. It's just the fish tank, and because I have wife and kids at home all day.
Yeah.
Their general use, but that's pretty much it. Everything like heat is gas here and all that kind of stuff. So.
Out of curiosity, roughly how much did it cost? I've debated this many times. My roof is like not the ideal direction, but.
Okay, so I use number one. I went with SunPower. They're more expensive than Tesla, but they're better panels because they have micro inverters on every panel. So if one panel goes down, all the other roof is still working. Tesla, if one goes down, the whole roof goes down. So yeah, so I picked the more expensive panel. I paid cash for them, so there was I wanted all the rebates to myself.
Yep.
And I think before the rebates from my government kickback in from my state government, it was like $36,000. I think was the cost of the panels, and then they're covering $15,000. I'm getting a check back for $15,000 in probably like 3 weeks. So yeah, and that's New York State, and I think a little bit of federal too.
Yeah.
That was the only reason I did it, was because I was getting so much money back from that, and I had a little bit of money squirreled away, and I couldn't think of a worst way to use it. So that's kind of So that's kind of where we went. Solar panel prices are coming down where everything else is going up. So I was like, let's throw in now before the state doesn't want to pay us for these anymore.
Yeah, like especially if you got the big kickback rebate, right? Like that makes a huge difference.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's awesome.
Oh.
Yeah, I would definitely do it again. If we had to move to a new house that didn't have them, I would install them immediately. As soon as I had the cash to do it, I'd put them back on again.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I did just like a battery backup one. I actually did it for whatever reason, like hardcore, like to do my landscape lighting years ago. So I finally
Gotta get my power cord.
Yeah. Okay. So I finally ran a wire for my batteries all the way up to the attic and down all the way to my reef tank, just so it's like a couple hundred amp hours worth of battery backup now for my pumps. So at least that's covered. That's sweet though, the whole house.
Yeah, it's awesome. But basically, it's my house is a ranch. So the whole back half of my roof is covered from one side to the other in panels, and that's enough. I don't know how many watts the system generates, or I don't remember, but it was supposed to do 80% of our electricity, and it does well over 100. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, so far. So I'm more than happy with it.
Now, if you're grid tied, if the grid is down, I guess you still have panel power as long as it's not like nighttime.
If the sun's out, I don't have batteries.
Yeah.
That's the problem. I don't have batteries because I don't have a garage, and there's so many regulations with where these batteries can go because they're a massive fire hazard. You can't just put them anywhere. And the guy told me in New York, the batteries don't really make too much of a difference anyway. It's more for people who pay for like time of use electricity, like in California.
Yeah.
So you can set the batteries. You can set your house to run off the batteries when electric is most expensive, and then you're using the grid when the grid power is cheaper.
Yeah.
So I didn't go for the batteries. They're not too much more expensive, but like they're pretty much everyone uses Tesla batteries. I don't think there's any other battery you can even buy.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I think like $8 to $10 a battery.
Not cheap.
Yeah, I mean, when you're already putting that money on the house, but that's like cash. So we get rebates and stuff for that stuff still. That would be included in whatever system you put in.
All right, so if the power was out, your reef tank would be powerless at night, but in the daytime, you'd be good to go with solar again.
I think so. It's funny. I live kind of like I'm in like a suburb of New York City. I'm 60 miles north of New York City, but I'm in like a small little kind of town area. We don't really ever lose power here. I think I've lost power for maybe 15 minutes in the last 3 years. So I haven't been able to test it yet to see if, what happens. But yeah, I've got a 13-year-old generator that's literally been started just to make sure it starts.
Nice.
Yeah, so, yeah, it's ridiculous. But yeah, I live like right next to like a middle school and a fire department. And so, yeah, the power's not going down.
You're in the priority section. You're good.
Yeah. I have natural gas, so I want to get a hookup for a natural gas generator, so the damn gas one.
Yeah.
That I can just hook up to the natural gas now that I have natural gas at the house. I'd like to do that, just in case. The stuff is, man. It's a lot of money invested in this stuff, and it's like someone hitting a power pole can't be the reason that this stuff dies. That's just unacceptable in my opinion. Yeah. It's crazy. Too much effort put into this stuff.
Yeah. I have no idea if they're any good, but I've seen this many times at Costco and debate every time I see it. There's like a Furman tri-fuel generator that could take gas, propane, or natural gas, which eventually, one day when I see it on sale, I'm going to get it. But I just hook it up to the barbecue line and never have to worry about refilling it.
Yeah, that's the exact type of generator I'm looking at. I think Telegram posted generator on Amazon, W-E-N, that's similar. I don't know if it's tri-fuel. No, it is tri-fuel. Yeah, it's gas, propane, and regular liquid gas.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, there he is.
Welcome back.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. And I want to do like a natural gas hookup outside the house so I can just run a hose real quick if I need to, because the last time we lost power here was like Hurricane Katrina. So like you couldn't get gas if you wanted it. Or whatever Irene, whatever the hurricane was up here. It was crazy. Like we were out for power for like 4 days. But that was like 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Nothing really since then. But when power does go down, like it's like I don't want to have to rely on having to go to the gas station and get gas. Because the last time I did that, I got screwed and I had to drive like 2 hours to get gas. So I have natural gas piped right into the house. So I want to take advantage of that when I finally upgrade the generator that I don't ever have to use.
Yep, that's fair. Yeah, if you can hook up to the barbecue, that's like the sweetest way to go. Like 100%.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, propane too. Yeah, hell yeah.
Just Toby off topic, wondering when your next Lagoon series update will be. I don't know. I'll work on one soon. It was going through the uglies. It's starting to come back to normal and nice, so I'll probably do one soon.
How hard is that, man, to do content when you just like there's so much time where you like look at the fish and you're like I don't want to deal with this right now. Like I can't. Like you're saying, like when you have like those down periods in the tank. But you still gotta put stuff out there.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, it's a lot of work doing every week live streaming videos. So
gotta come up with something like brainstorming. What am I going to do? What am I going to do?
That's true.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, not gonna lie. Some weeks you're like, some weeks I have tons of great ideas, and other weeks you're like, what'd I do this week? As you've done like 500 videos, you gotta, it's a good chunk.
Yeah, man. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
You also too, if you've been in it so long, you start having to, just like watching Mark on every Saturday. He puts out 2 hour long, 3 hour long video every Saturday. He's done covered 3 or 4 different things over and over and over again. But things change. Time goes down the road. New product comes out, new ideas, new angles.
Yep.
I mean, when I come back into it, I was like, I was still in the phase of, well, you got to get your nitrates down to zero. It's got to be zero. It's got to be zero. And then all of a sudden I'm like, wait a minute. Everybody's wanting nitrate and phosphate now. I'm like, what happened?
Isn't that funny how things have changed? 4 or 5 years ago, everyone's trying to get rid of nutrients. Now, half the people out there are dosing nutrients. It is kind of funny.
Yeah, it is. So much stuff has changed since then. So much stuff has changed since then. So much stuff. When I first got into this stuff, I was just getting into SPS when people finally discovered in America vodka dosing on how to get, and it was this magic thing. No one understood how to do it. And I was just like, oh, like scientifically, like this makes a ton of sense. I'm going to try this out and see how it goes. And I'll never forget that article by Genetics, vodka dosing distilled. You can still type it into Google and it comes right up. I still use that chart to this day for vodka dosing. And it's not to get nutrients down anymore. It's to kind of just keep them stable and feed corals at the same time because they eat the bacteria that eats that nitrate and phosphate up.
So crazy thing on that one. So my water box used to have crazy high nitrates. And I had this like battle for ages to get rid of nitrates. And now I have barely any now. So it's funny how that
funny
has
how
changed.
that works. Yeah.
Yeah. So now phosphate's now like the one I got to deal with. But yeah, I had like 60, 80, like I think I had 60, 70 nitrates. Now they're like 2. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
When I had my 75, when I had my 75 gallon, I started up. I was on the deep sand bed in the plenum kick. It's all about your dead space and your anaerobic bacteria producing, changing it and bubbling it out of your tank. And I still had, 60, 70 high nitrates in the tank, even with a 7-inch sand bed with a plenum underneath it.
Yeah.
Joe Bear plenums, man. That's the real OG stuff.
That was back in the day. I still got. Like you said, you had a piece of rock that went tank to tank to tank to tank. I got a rock out of the 29-gallon aquarium that I first bought. That's about 25 years ago, and it's never been out of salt water. Even when I went through a hiatus and didn't even have a reef tank, I had a 75-gallon tank over in the corner. That I had a girlfriend at the time. She just couldn't understand why I had 200 pounds of rock in a tank with salt water with nothing in it.
Yeah.
And I had an old faithful clownfish that she stayed in there, and she stayed in there for 12 years with no light. No light whatsoever. All I did was just feed her a little bit every day with 200 pounds of live rock. I said, one day I'm going to set me up a new reef tank. And then when the pandemic hit, I'm like,
boom.
I'm always at home. Either I got to sell it or I need to do something with it. So I did something with it, and I enjoyed the hell out of it.
That's awesome. Well, good you
That's
finally
the right
did.
option.
Exactly.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Quick shout out, John Reefer Vermont. Been a while. Hello, welcome, and thank you for the super chat.
For John. I ain't seen him in chat in a minute.
It's definitely been a while. Nick, fellow Colonian, welcome. Local on the stream, all right. Bruno Bars, what's up, Devin? Open my package. 3 Hydros X3. Nice. New controller. How excited should I be? Well, that's up to you. It depends how bad you want a controller. If you don't like technology and you have to set it up, I guess more scared. And if you love technology, super excited. Oh, so I was over at a buddy's house. So I helped him start to set this up. This cracked me up. I don't know if he's watching or not, but remember the one video I did and he had a tank floating on the wall? We like floated on the backside of his stairs. Yeah. So he like splurged like crazy on all this gear. So I gotta finish filming a video on it, but Alcatronic, Mastertronic, and a Hydros. So he went like super crazy, and I was bugging him about it because his tank's all like soft corals. I'm like, you have the most like tech. I'm like, you can keep anything now. But then I was giving.
That's how it always works. That's how it always works out that way. It always...
It's like Xenia and like Kenya trees and GSP.
Yep.
And he's just like, well, the ones are dying. I'm like, yeah, because you don't test your tank. So he finally bought all the auto testers. So at least we'll get it all pimped out now.
If it's for the benefit of the animals, then hell yeah.
Yeah, 100%. He knows he's a slacker at testing, so it justified it.
That's how I used to be until very recently. My entire time in the hobby, I was very lackadaisical with testing. So that's one thing when I decided to I took like a 2-year break, and when I decided to cut back in, I was like, well, I'm going to do it either the right way, 100%, or I'm not doing this half-ass thing anymore. So I think my systems have benefited more for the testing, but I mean, I don't go too crazy. I have a Trident on the tank. I I test my frag tank. That's a separate system. Alkalinity I test 3 times a week.
Yep.
With a HANA checker, and I check nitrate and PO4 weekly.
Nice.
I check salinity when I, think about it. I have my little Milwaukee digital refractometer out, so that's, probably daily. I probably check that, but that's just always out. But that's really it. I mean, there's nothing too much crazy. I've been getting more into ICP now that I found out my system has no trace elements in it. But yeah, so now I'm kind of doing that more often. I was doing that twice a year, and now I'm going to do it probably every other month.
Nice.
For 6 months, 6 or 8 months to get the kind of everything back on track.
That's
one of the downsides of loading the system with tons of coral. Like I didn't think there was going to be any issues whatsoever.
Yeah.
And when I got that ICP back, I sent 3 different tests out because I was like, there's no way. There's no way. There's no way. And every single one of them came back exactly the same. Like, God damn it.
Yeah.
So we've been dumping the trace A and K in because there's just literally everything. I think everything was low except for copper, lead. Because I dose Mrs. Wages, so it's like there's always trace amounts of copper. It's not anything bad. It's like in the safe amount that can be there. But yeah, that like my bromine goes faster than magnesium does. Like it's weird, man. Like weird chemical stuff goes on in my fish tank. But I'm trying to get more hold of that now. So.
Yeah. Nice.
We're on the right track that way. Yeah.
That's good. I've been thinking about it for at least a month and a half now to send an ICP, so I got to get on it because I know my trace elements aren't where they should be. So.
Yeah, I used who'd I use? I used Trident, who I use all the time. They're good because they're right in California, so they're domestic.
Nice.
Once I got the Trident test back, I saw my silicate number, and I was like, that's a load of crap. I need to send out. So then I sent one out to ATI because they test your RODI water also.
Yep.
Which is like 2.5 weeks ago, and I'm still waiting for that to come back. That's why I don't like ATI because they take forever. And I tried Reef Labs. Mm-hmm. Reef Labs is awesome. Reef Labs is really cool.
Where are they?
I tried them as well. That's the one that Meckley uses. They're down in Florida.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, that guy Gene DeViglia, I think he's some kind of like marine biologist or some kind of he knows what he's talking about for sure. Because when I finally messaged him, because he was the last test I got back, that confirmed everything, and he was kind of giving me a heads up because I was concerned about the lead and the copper and all that crap, and he was basically saying there was no big deal, so I kind of asked him for a full explanation. And that's what he told me. He goes, it's there, but it's in low amounts. You're going to need it anyway.
That's fair.
But he basically said, don't even worry about that. He said, the trace elements are the whole issue you're having.
Yeah. So
get them up. So I'm working on it now, so we'll see.
That's good. Do you dose them normally, or just now that you know that you need them?
Now that I know that I need them. I mean, dude, I've been doing this so long, I should have known. I'm using 4.5 gallons of kalkwasser. Like, it's got to be using trace elements. But it's like, but everything was looking fine. So I, kind of go by sight, and I go by what I was testing. I do test potassium every once in a while, and that wasn't incredibly low, believe it or not. But like everything else was low, dude. Like bromine, I needed to like 2 of those moonshiner bottles of bromine. I need 2 full ones, 2 full bottles in that 220 to get the levels up where they needed to go. It was ridiculous. But yeah, I dosed that because that was really bad, and then everything else was so low. I just did Marin, Trace A and K at their max recommended dosage. I figure I'm going to do that for a month. And then I'll ICP test again. I'll see where that gets me. So I'm doing, I think it's 10 mil a day of A and K right now to get those numbers where they need to be. So yeah,
it's a good chunk.
See how it goes. Yeah, it's quite a bit. But again, I mean, I'm an idiot, and I should have been dosing it a whole, you know what I'm saying, this whole time. So it's
Just don't correct it too quickly. Just slowly bring her all back up.
You don't think you could supplement? I know you said you couldn't run off a reef; it costs you. But the powder, you make powder's not that expensive. Supplement it in with your calc wash. Just put it in just to get your trace elements and supplement a little bit of your alkalinity in there. Maybe you could back off your calc wash a little bit.
I thought about that. I did, but like. The way All for Reef works is it's giving you the trace elements in ratio with the alkalinity that it's giving you as well. And like my tank uses so much, if I only use I would have to use mostly All for Reef and a little bit of calc. in order to, you know what I'm saying, in order to really get it to where it would need to where it was actually hitting the consumption level. And I figured it was just going to be easier for me to dose A and K. I think you can put them in the same bottle anyway.
You can.
Because,
Yeah.
I mean, when you can, right? Even if, you can put A and K in the same. So that gets me to 1 pump anyway, which is what the Alpha Reef would be doing. Dude, I really like calc. Like, I would eat it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner if it didn't kill me. It's the most amazing.
Caveat,
Like,
you will die.
Dude, yeah, don't eat it. But dude, it's amazing. It's dirt cheap, and it binds phosphate. It boosts pH. It does everything.
Have you
Like
actually
sparks
noticed?
out.
Okay, wait. I need to ask this. Okay. So binding phosphate, I always hear this, yet I still struggle with phosphate. So I'm dumping in like 1.5 gallons of calc a day. I'm like, where are you bind them, damn it? Like, get my phosphates down.
Well, okay, I should say chemically, it's supposed to bind phosphate. I mean, that's what it's supposed to do. I don't have phosphate issues, unfortunately. Well, fortunately for me, but I don't really get that benefit, I don't think. But I don't run any phosphate remover either, so it could be doing something, but it's probably the corals. Oh, I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
I'm sure you do. I don't know how anyone with sand doesn't run phosphate remover. You have to. It's just there's so much
I don't
crap.
run any kind of phosphate. I just run a big ass refugium.
Oh, refugium, yeah.
That works too.
Sucks it up.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Just going to get this one question for John before it scrolls out of my screen. Question for the group. Would you carbon dose while dosing H2O2? Will carbon dosing increase the potency of H2O2 to the point of making it toxic? I don't see why they would cause an issue together. I mean, I might be wrong, but I don't think it would. What do you guys think?
I don't think so. I don't dose a ton of hydrogen peroxide. The only time I use it is like the spot treat little spots of algae in the tank.
Yeah. You could dose your tank as like an algae preventative as long as you don't overdo it. But yeah, same ice use for spot treating.
Only thing I've ever added, I bass fish a lot, and that's kind of a secret thing to keep your fish alive in your live wells. Add your hydrogen peroxide because it adds extra oxygen. Oxygenates your water, so it keeps your fish good. But you can't go too much because you'll burn the gills. So,
yeah, I mean, I would think if anything, it might help. I mean, when you're dosing bacteria, your oxygen is what you're worried about, and I don't really see why it would cause an issue.
I don't think it would personally.
Yeah, I'm not a chemist by any means.
Yeah, I personally wouldn't worry about it. I mean, maybe there's some reaction I don't know about, but I can't think anything offhand that would conflict. Okay, question from...
The whole thing, do its flow.
Yep. Okay, question for Steven. Quick question. For coral, do you need a fully cycled nitrogen cycle tank? No, you don't need it for coral. You're cycling a tank for fish. Coral, you could have freshly mixed salt water, heated, slap in some coral, power head and a light, and they'll be fine. Yeah,
Throw down.
Yeah, you're cycling for fish, not for the coral.
Throw down. No cycle. None.
Yep.
0 corals in day 3.
Hey,
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Hey, if you have no fish, why not?
If you're brand new, but yeah, well, I mean, I guess you can. Well, I wouldn't be putting acro in. But no, you could. I mean, the corals you can do it. If you're a beginner, you know, kind of start with easier stuff first. LPS softies, good. Throw them in there.
Yep, exactly. Bunch of people talk about Aptasia. Yeah, F-Aptasia is the one I would use if you're doing it, or Nudies. I found F-Aptasia just works the best out of everything else. Ironically, there's a tank on the floor behind me where I'm purposely trying to grow Aptasia now.
I saw your pictures. That was crazy.
Yeah.
To feed
I
these
use
little punks.
F-Aptasia also. That's the only one I would use. I wouldn't mess with any of the
Need
others.
to get them.
Unless you're just doing like calflosser or something.
Devin, you need to get them to send you that Reef Delete and do a demo on the Reef Delete.
They're expensive. They're like a couple $100.
Oh, they're like $300 or $400.
A couple hundred, 400, yeah.
Yeah.
400, you know, that's where they are here. I don't know what they are in
They're about
in the
$400.
Great White North.
Probably $100 more than that.
Yeah.
It's probably 500 here if it's 400 for you.
Yeah. But yeah, $400, but it's UVC laser. That's pretty cool technology.
Yeah.
If you're kind of, look into lasers at all, you'll kind of see why it's so expensive.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's supposed to work. I don't know. My problem with Aptasias is ones you can't get to.
Right.
So
Can't
you
reach.
can't, like, how are you going to reach it with a laser if the
Underneath the
Aptasia's
rock.
under a rock where I can't calc it anyway?
Right
Army
there.
of hunters.
Yeah.
You got
Yeah,
that.
no, that's true. That's true. That's why I prefer biological. I use peppermint shrimp. I tried Molly Miller blennies.
Did that work?
Don't get those.
No.
No, and they nip clam, dude, which I didn't know. But when you look at their mouth, because they're always sitting right there and next to the fish tank, you can always see in their personal little dudes. You can kind of see, like, they're definitely like designed a mouth that's different than other blennies. Like they got this little point to them. It looks like they're perfectly set to nip clam mantles and little, anemones and stuff like that. But I've never seen mine. I have 2 of them in the 220. I mean, maybe they eat them. Maybe they eat small ones. Their mouth is tiny. They're not going to hammer anything big. But I think a peppermint shrimp are probably much better options than Molly Miller blennies.
Speaking of eating clams, something ate my clam. I was so depressed.
Dude, I
Big
saw
one?
that. That was a huge clam. What have you got in there? A dump truck of a fish?
It was a football. I don't know who it was. Literally, one morning I came out because I've had it in there for like 2 years, and something like one whole side of it was like hanging out the side of it on the fish are roundly pecking at it. So I have no idea who did the damage. But
once they go downhill too, I think any fish will hit them anyway because it's just like what fish doesn't eat chopped up clam? Like if you were to put chopped up clam in a fish tank, every fish.
Yeah.
So yeah, that sucks, man. It really does. I have a Geigus in my 220, pretty big. I have a Geigus that was small that just died. The damn Molly Miller blenny ate it. And I have a teardrop maxima that I've had for 2.5 years. Not nearly as big as yours, but I like clams, man.
Yeah.
Because they're really cool. I have a little Hippopas clam too. I just got from ORA.
Oh yeah.
ORA does Hippopas clams. Yeah, they're ugly as sin, but they're supposed to. Yeah, hold on, I'll show you. But they're supposed to filter like a ton of water, and I was just kind of intrigued by it. He was pretty neat. Let me get my clip here. Hold on.
You should get a bunch.
Oh, he's open too. The blenny hasn't picked on him.
You should get a bunch and just do a clam refugium.
That's right.
That's what I was. Dude, I was thinking about it. It's a good idea.
Like a top-down look.
I've thought about it for ages. I don't know. I want to see somebody do it.
Oh, here, hold on. Here, hold on. I got these stupid blue sunglasses.
Perfect.
Can you see him?
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, they're ugly, dude. they're flat on the bottom, so like they don't tip over.
Oh, well, I guess it's easier replacement.
Really neat. Yeah, really, really neat. Really neat. And then my Maxima's blue, so you're not gonna be able to see him. He's under all blue light, but yeah, teardrop blue. I got him. He was a wild one. But yeah, I've had historically really, really crappy success with clams. So I got the Geigus was from ORA. The guy that kind of got me into the hobby many, many years ago had a huge Geigus clam, so I kind of always wanted one of those.
Nice.
So that one's been doing well. The Maxwell one is wild. I got lucky with that. That's doing really good. And this Hippopas is, I'm going to have to move it soon because this stupid blenny's picking on it. But
dang.
I got to catch this little bastard. Yeah, I hate him. I hate him.
So does the clam get moved or does the blenny get moved?
No, well, I'm gonna use the clam as bait. I'm gonna put him in a fish trap. And there's only 2 of those little blennies in here. Dude, they dive. They sit on top of the acro right above this clam here, and they dive down, hit it, and turn around and come back before the clam can close up.
Oh.
And they only get like a little, I haven't seen any visual damage, but anytime the damn fish is near it, it's closed up because the Hippopas can completely seal. You couldn't get in there at all if you wanted to. It's like a Maxima, like a something with a small mouth can still get in there. You couldn't get the Holy Spirit in between these 2 pieces of this thing when it's closed.
Yeah.
So it closes right up when it's anywhere near it.
Oh, crazy. One of my tangs I saw like nipping at the edge of my mantle. Like it never did anything but just tiny little nips, and it'd retract a bit and then come back out a few minutes later. But
I haven't. My tangs love hitting like right where the mantle is. They hit the shell, which is that little line of algae that grows right there. They seem to really love hitting that. But I haven't noticed them. My fish have been pretty good as far as hitting any of my corals. I have a lot of acans and acanthophiles in this 220, so I'm constantly eyeballing to make sure. I had a clown goby killing acanthophilia. So I was, dude, talk about an upside down transaction there. A $3 fish killed like a $600 red striped acanthophilia because it was like trying to nest in it, and it just burrowed a hole in it. and it just brown jellied like instantaneously. I
That-
couldn't save it. It sucked.
that
So
was-
yeah, so all the acanthos are moved.
Yep. That was my first ever saltwater fish was a yellow clown goby, and then he started nipping all my polyps, my corals, so I ended up trading them. And then I got a regular clown after that, but which I still have. But yeah,
I have a green one. He's still alive. He's in the LPS section of the frag tank. As long as he doesn't kill anything else, he can stay. He's not too big of a deal, and he's been okay otherwise. He sleeps in my Acropora frags. I don't know why. He's got all this fluffy LPS in there to sit in. He's got like a McKay's Trachophilia, all these mushrooms, and he's sitting in an Acropora.
They tend to like hang in the branches than just munch on the polyps once in a while. Yep.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to mess with these ones, but these Anacroporas don't put any. They put like no polyp extension out anyway, so there's not really much for him to mess with. He's a rough fish with the corals he likes to sit in.
Yeah, that's fair.
For some reason, but yeah.
Yep.
I got a coral beauty that I got. I believe it was from ORA. It's captive raised, and it just like randomly just goes to the tank. Just peck this, peck that, peck this, peck that. I mean, just not necessarily stay on one individual thing, but just swim by, just peck. I think
Snack.
it likes I don't know if it's a Kenya tree or a coral. I don't know exactly. Got it from a tank rescue, but it picks on that more than anything.
Oh,
I'm like,
perfect.
I keep it over in the corner. I'm like, go ahead,
Oh,
peck
yeah.
on it, heat it up.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
she'll
have a
peck
day.
or the elegance opens up, just swim up and just peck the ends. I mean, you look, you can't see like she's took a bite out of it. She just pecked it.
I think
a
you're
nibble.
better off when the fish are like that. If they're kind of just grazing on everything, not hitting. Once you have enough
particular
coral
thing.
in there, once you have enough coral in there, it's all good.
Exactly.
It's all good. Yeah, one polyp here and there is not going to hurt anything. It's just when they hit one thing after another.
When you have 6 1-inch frags, you'll actually notice it. But when you have a bunch of colonies,
Yeah.
you would never notice.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the best thing about acros, man. Once they get big enough, you
Yep.
get fish that will kind of live in them, and they'll protect them on their own. Like I have Talbot's damsels. I love them, dude. They're awesome fish. Awesome fish. And they don't really mess with anything else. They kind of just mess with each other. But once the colonies are big enough, man, nothing's getting in those colonies. Nothing. These fish they're ridiculous. They're like little janitor, protector, guardians of their little space.
Yeah.
And that's the end of it. Yeah, I always see them like cleaning it out. It's really cool watching their behavior once you get to see them interact around like larger corals like they are in the ocean, because that's what they do in the ocean. They hide amongst the branches to save themselves from predators and that kind of deal. But they're awesome. They're really cool. Fish are the best part, man. I love corals, but the interaction with the fish is
I've thoroughly enjoyed.
it's a whole other thing.
I've thoroughly enjoyed my fish this time. And like I say, most people, people that not in the hobby, that's the first thing they're going to see is your fish, and then the next thing they're going to see is whatever the wavy stuff is.
Yeah.
Sticks. They don't. Oh, that's alive.
Hair algae.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't-
As long as they're not eating my coral, then I like them all.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the only rule. Don't eat the
Or your
coral.
clam. Or your clams.
Wow. I wish I knew who it was, but I have no idea. And once it was already like partially destroyed, they're all picking at it, so then you have no idea who the
everybody
culprit
gets
was.
it. Hey,
It's like a thief
Who
in the
did
night,
it?
dude. You could have some giant worm in there. You don't even know.
I was
That
hiding
could be
around the
it.
corner,
Who
peeking,
knows?
just trying to like see who it was, and then I just kept seeing different ones pick at it. I'm like, I'm never gonna know.
And you get the detective flashlight out. You're ready to go.
I was like, I don't know, triggerfish, copperband, a tang, like wrasses. Who knows?
No, I'm ragging on you. I get the same way, man. With the corals, like what I was saying, when I was having the few random losses on my acros, I could have sworn it was a pest. I was like, it had to have been a pest. Something had to have gone in here.
Yeah.
And I was down here with the flashlight, trying to look around and find. Dude, I couldn't find anything. I bought wrasse to put in the tank. I blow out all the corals to see if they go and eat anything that I'm not seeing. There's nothing in there. But I still got to look.
You never know.
You
never know.
Scratch that. You got to scratch that itch, man. That's what this whole hobby is. It's just a whole bunch of different itches at different times.
It's an itchy hobby. Yeah. It's true. But yeah, I don't know. That's why we like the hobby, though. If it's too easy, it wouldn't be as fun.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
So, any other plans or upgrades or anything for your guys' tanks in the near future?
Trident.
Trident? Nice.
Let's
Do it, man. Do it.
Either that,
Trident.
either that, or the Mastertronic.
Yeah.
I'd like to have the Mastertronic. You know, I could, double the amount of the Trident, but you get a lot more tests you can do.
There's I don't know how handy you are, but I've been seeing posts online now and in the Neptune group where you can design your own Trident schedule, and it's not hard to do.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, you literally just have to go in through like the apex.local, and there's some hidden code that you can get to with the right amount of clicks.
Nice.
And yeah, and just writing the code, you can, because what I want to do is I run lower alk, so I always have like 20% of the damn reagent bottle left when my B&C is out.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to add a couple alk tests into the schedule.
So they all run out together.
Yeah, just so it more routinely uses the reagents. I don't have to throw it out.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to try it that way, but I haven't really gotten too into it yet. I only just recently started noticing posts about that online and people replying to my posts saying, hey, you can do that. Neptune just won't let you do it. You got to kind of go around there. There's their baby gate in order to do it.
Fill me in when you do it.
Something about a formula making your own reagent for the Trident too.
I saw
about that.
I saw that too. I think almost all of these testers test alkalinity the same way. Alkalinity specifically, I think they test all the same way. So all of that reagent's got to be very similar to what the Hanna checker is. And I did see that. I think Poor Man's Reef on Instagram posted that, which was really cool. Mm-hmm. Combined with that testing schedule that you can update now, I think that's neat, because then you could pretty much test. You'd be at like Alktronic levels of testing cost.
Yeah. Nice.
And you could just spam alk tests all day and not have to worry about your calcium and magnesium going as often.
Yeah.
If
you do it and it works well, let me know. I'm curious. I don't have a Trident, so I have to live vicariously for now.
Yeah, I'm going to try it soon. I got one of the first ones, dude. Look, I got the cool little sticker on there and everything. The OG. Yeah, it's been running forever. I haven't... hasn't needed anything, just reagent changes.
Have you had to do like the yearly maintenance thing you're supposed to do? No. Still goes strong.
Nope. I got it at wrap two wraps ago when it first came out.
Mm-hmm.
I've cleaned the cuvette.
Yep.
The little measuring cuvette, which is not. I mean, it literally took 4 minutes for me to do that.
Yep.
It was very easy, but I didn't think I don't know if I had to do it. I just did it because I was like, that looks kind of dirty. Mm-hmm. So I cleaned it out. But other than that, it's been fine. I haven't had any issues. I still question some things I don't understand with the Trident. Like it doesn't directly test for magnesium. It doesn't. It tests your calcium and infers the magnesium based on the calcium result. Well, what the hell happens if I'm dosing calcium and I'm never dosing magnesium?
Yeah, that's a weird one. I didn't know that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't directly test for magnesium. It infers magnesium based on the calcium test, and I don't know how it does that, or the math as well, but it does. And I always thought that in my head, like, what's up with that? So I still kind of manually test magnesium every once in a while, only because I'm not. But it's
Now, is it accurate though? Like, if you do an ICP test, is it relatively close? Sweet.
It is.
I mean, it's all that matters at the end of the day.
Yeah. It is. That always is just it's just something that just stuck in my head. Like, really? So you're not really testing magnesium. You're inferring it. But, it always tweaked me.
Algorithm.
Yep.
Yeah, my magnesium seems to never change.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was just telling you, my tank had. I was telling Devin earlier, my tank my 220 had no trace elements in it at all. It was there was nothing in there.
Okay.
But guess what was in there? Magnesium, and I haven't dosed a drop of magnesium since I set the tank up. Not one single drop.
Mm-hmm.
So
water
I don't
changes.
know how I go through.
You don't know water changes?
Could be from your calc. Some calcs have meg.
It misses wages, bro.
Maybe it's
like
maybe they have impurities of magnesium.
I mean, it's got copper and lead in it, obviously, because that's on my ICP also. But I mean, I could. It's just weird. I've never dosed magnesium, and that's two systems. The frag system's the same way. Never had to dose magnesium.
Water change, or you don't know no water change.
And I've also dosed magnesium slowly, very slowly, just to see if it goes up, and it doesn't go up.
You have to dose a lot of magnesium though for it to like. Yeah, and when I gotta add magnesium, true. I'm dumping in like a couple liters of it to like make a difference.
Yeah. Yep, that's true. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I use Brightwell salt. That seems to naturally be up in almost the 1500 range. Mm-hmm. That's the only salt I use is Brightwell Neomarine. Yep. But yeah, it's weird. It's weird. I don't know. It could be from that, but I don't change a lot of water. I think I've done maybe 10% water changes on this fish tank the entire time it's been up.
Mm-hmm.
On the 220, and that's only because the nutrients have never, like, I was always worrying about dropping the nutrients too low, even from that small of a water change, because they were that low.
Yeah.
I was at like, I think it was 1.5 nitrate, and phosphates were always undetectable, even though I knew they were in there because the corals were doing fine.
Mm-hmm.
But I was always constantly low until I started dosing a little bit, just to bump them, and then I've been fine since then. But yeah, I haven't changed a ton of water on here yet.
No.
Probably leading to why there was no trace elements in there, but you know.
That,
I love my auto water.
It
tank.
happens.
that would do it.
Yeah.
Love the auto water
thought of-
tank. You can't beat that.
Dude, I
Butter,
tried that.
hit a button.
I tried that on my with the dose. I tried it after BRS was talking about it like crazy, being like the next savior of this, that, and the other thing. And I thought it was an awesome idea. I tried it on my 60 cube when it was set up, and the salinity swung like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would recalibrate the dose pumps; they would calibrate just fine, but my salinity would swing like crazy. So I finally just put an end to it. I was like, I'll just change water. You know, normally it's not that I don't like doing it. It's just that I didn't feel there was a need for it, and I was kind of worried about. I always worried about doing anything with these fish. Anything. I was worried about doing anything with them. That's why, like, I mix my calc up like 35 gallons at a time.
Yep.
I don't mix it up like 3 times over 3 weeks. It's made once,
Mm-hmm.
so I can only make a mistake doing it
One
once. Yeah, exactly, like that kind of thing. I kind of try to minimize as much as possible.
You know what I did like a week or two ago? I was doing a big water change on the office tank, and I was filling out the bin, and then I was downstairs. I have like little valves off my RODI, so I was like, oh, I'm gonna open the other one so I can fill my ATO bin. I'm gonna hang out with the wife for a bit, and I come back. I'm like, why is my bin weight down low? I guess it just back siphoned a ton of salt water into my ATO bin, so I was like,
Oh,
So then I was like, well, I might as well use this water for something. So then I actually like vacuumed my sand bed and did a water change on the water box for the first time in a while.
siphons are usually what get you, dude.
Yep.
That's usually it. That happened to me too with Algae buffer. Luckily it was it wasn't the was soda ash the one that bumps the pH. It wasn't, so it was the other one.
Mm-hmm.
It was I had made a complete mistake and mixed up the wrong buffer. I just had it just in case
Yeah.
I need to make big corrections. And I hooked that up to the doser when I was using it on the frag system, and I didn't realize it. It back siphoned the whole damn thing into the fish tank. I noticed at midnight when my Trident told me the alk was
Dang.
unreadable. Yeah, I did a massive water change, and I what the hell did I put in there? Vinegar? I can't remember. There's something that lowers alkalinity. I think it was vinegar. I was like Googling at like 2 o'clock in the morning.
So I actually tried that with vinegar, and it also tanks your pH. And it seemed like a temporary lowering of elk. Like, I've actually been trying to see if there is like some way of lowering elk, and I haven't really found a way, like an acid like vinegar. But I don't know. To me, it seems like a temporary fix. I don't know if it actually stays lower.
Yeah, it was so high, dude. It was so bad. It was over. I think when I tested it, after I did 2 25-gallon water changes, which was the most I could do at that time,
Mm-hmm.
on a 100-gallon system, it was still, I had to double it on the Hangout chapter. It was like 32.
Yeah. Yes.
It was ridiculous.
That's
And
up
then
there.
I did another. Yeah, it was crazy. No, I didn't lose anything, which
That's
was
good.
surprising. I didn't lose anything from that incident. But again, it wasn't like I didn't have the pH spike because it was the bicarbonate or soda, whichever one doesn't spike your pH. Was luckily what the hell I accidentally put into the fish tank. But yeah, that mistake, and then the other one was with the damn CO2 scrubber. Those are the only big screw ups I've really had. And I got lucky enough to catch it because I had the Apex. So it told me, hey, your pH is ridiculous, because I was sucking soda lime through the skimmer
Oh.
as the cup overflowed. Yeah. But I caught it instantly. I shut the return pump down, and I just ripped the sump out from under the fish tank and dumped all the water into the tub. And because it was so bad, and I just refilled it with fresh salt water. Yeah, luckily I caught that where that wasn't too bad. But again, I got saved by the controller on that one.
That's fair.
But yeah. So not too many mistakes, but when I make them, sometimes I screw up.
Go
pretty
big or
bad.
go home.
Yeah.
Mess it up good.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Producer Reef says muriatic acid will drop elk. A few drops to lure elk. Muriatic acid in the mixing container. I'm gonna try.
That might have been what I used. I didn't use very much of it, and I remember I had gloves on.
So
that could have been it too.
I'm gonna try that because my elk is too high in my frag tank, and if it lowers it, I'm gonna try a few drops and see what happens. I think I have some. Just a few drops. It drops quickly. 1 mil or less. Okay. So I have like 150, 60 gallons. Okay, actually, first question. Is it safe to do in a tank with fish and coral? Like, I'll try just a mil and see if there's a difference. Or 2 mils. I don't know. I'll see. But I'm curious. Someone else...
Just a wee bit.
Yeah, I did try vinegar, and it just seemed to be very temporary. Like, it tanked the pH, and then I just felt like the elk was just right back, or it was a day later, so...
Yeah. When I used it, I had to fix it quick. I had work the next day.
Mm-hmm.
I was not trying to be late. So, yeah, I was throwing everything out if possible just to get the elk to where I could read what the hell it was on the Hannah checker.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, you could be right. It could very well be temporary.
Yep. I don't know. I might experiment. I'm curious now.
Yeah, I'm going to try not to do it again so I don't have to experiment myself. But
dude, run you put you some salt water, measure your alkalinity in your salt water in a bucket and add it in there.
Yeah. Or I'll just dilute it down with water so it's very light, and then just do a super slow drip or something. We'll find out.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. You don't need to do it. Yeah, I was going to say, you don't need to put a tiny bit in and just run an electronic test and see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. That's the beauty. Okay, so that's
yes, sir.
That is my third option from earlier about things that you don't need but are nice to have. Auto testers.
Mm-hmm. I would 100% agree there. It's all insurance, dude.
Yep.
Like I said, it's all that stuff is all insurance. So it depends on how much are you saving if something if I didn't get that notification from my Apex, and you're talking like I don't know. Easily probably over 10 grand in coral dead before I'm even awake in the morning.
Yeah, that's rough.
So yeah, it's rough. And I travel, when I travel, I like to be able to kind of know what's going on here at the house. And most of it's automated by itself anyway. I just have someone come and just kind of put their eyes on it.
Yep.
But yeah, it's definitely a luxury item, but the deeper you get into the hobby and the more of your own money you're putting into these animals.
You pay insurance on your car every day. It's
pays off. Policy. Yeah. Apex is what, $600?
Peace of mind.
It hurts to buy it.
$600 in coral.
But once you have it, you will not want to go without it. But I mean, same with all the testers. Sucks to buy it, but once you have it, you'll be happy you have it.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. It did suck to buy it, but
the easier you make it, the more apt somebody's going to do it.
Yeah,
the harder it is, the less likely they are to do it.
Yeah, and your time is valuable. That's my thing. I got 2 kids. I got a wife. I can't test alkalinity every day. 3 times a day. I can't do that. I don't have time to do that. So I needed that piece of automation there. So it's when you need it, you need it.
Yeah.
But it's a good luxury. Even when you're just starting out. Mm-hmm. They're cool. Yeah. Definitely a luxury for sure. And there's a Hydros, there's GHL, there's that Felix. I haven't ever used that one before, but there's all kinds. It's just different strokes for different folks.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, auto tester. I think auto testers is going to be over time. I think as they get more companies, more affordable. I think a lot of people have them. It just takes out like that guessing game, and especially if you're new, I mean, no one wants to spend $1,000 on a tester when you're new, but it's going to make you more successful and less chance of bargaining up something.
Yeah, it depends. A lot of what I buy, you're not ever going to find me spending $900 on a Radion. Like, it's not happening. Cool. Some people like to do that. It's all well and good, but I'll sure as hell buy that Apex. Yeah. I'll sure as hell buy the Vortec MP40s. Because I know they're going to run for almost 10 years. And not have any issues.
I'll snatch one up every time I see a used one out there. If somebody's got $150, $180, I'm like,
yeah, man.
No.
Mine.
Yeah.
Yep.
I got the I can't remember what Macna it was, but the Macna where they released the first MP40. Mm-hmm. That was the first and only Macna I ever went to. I was still a young kid. I can't believe I had the money to go to that. I saved up forever. Nice. But I won one I won one in a raffle. I had one of the
Nice.
first ones that was on the market. And dude, that thing worked for probably almost 12 years. Like almost 12 years before finally the electronics were just right. Like the box was metal, like the control box. Like it was crazy.
Yeah, old school.
The originals,
Yeah,
eh?
heavy as hell. Yeah, heavy as hell. But there's man, stuff when I find stuff that works, like that's it. I don't really have any brand affinity. It's just when something works, like that's what I care about. That's where I go.
I think they pretty much revolutionized the damn flow in an aquarium.
Oh yeah,
MP40s.
man. Yeah,
I mean, that was
100%.
back in the day. Was like when they come out, it's like, man, I just wish I could get one. I mean, it was just I was using the damn Maxi Jets, suction cups, or hanging on the sides of the aquarium.
Yeah, the modded Maxi Jets. I still have one of those that works too. It's in my rock bin.
Nice.
Hold on. Yeah, hold on.
Maybe one day I'll be able to get an MP40.
I'm not lying, folks. It's still works.
Beauty. Still going strong.
Unbelievable.
Ah.
But yeah, when you find stuff that works, man, stick
Yep.
with it.
Well, I use those Seache Voyager pumps for like my salt mixing pumps for like years. Those things those big pieces keep on going.
Yeah, they're those are. I was gonna say those are workhorses too.
Yep.
Those and I like Jabal return pumps seem to be indestructible, completely and utterly indestructible.
I had one eventually die, but every other one just kept on going.
Ooh.
So they were
So-
pretty
Yeah,
solid.
Yeah, I have
That's
two
my-
of the
my-
ECP 18,000. Oh, nice! I remember those. The
Nice.
4-1 calcium reactor. Those are cool. The
Beauty.
Eheim pump on the top, right?
Yep.
I don't use it because I don't have a port for my pH, but I've considered drilling a hole and putting a port in.
Yep.
Yeah, you can get a
Easy.
bung. I think they have them right at BRS has them.
Yep. BRS has them for like $20. I drilled the lid
Yeah.
of my
A Vast Marine has them too.
Yep. The ice cap calc reactor. I drilled it and threw a port in the top.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Not going any power heads. Hardcore. Do you know closed loop?
Closed
Must be. Yeah.
loop. That's old school, man.
You know,
Old school.
I love the idea of not having any visible power heads, but I've always been like hesitant to put holes in the bottom of 200 gallons of water.
Yeah, I don't want a Swiss cheese piece of glass, dude. That's not me. I mean, it can be done. Don't get me wrong. That's how everyone used to. That's how everyone used to run them with those ocean motions, 4 ways. It looked like a damn octopus
Yeah.
hanging back of someone's reef. They're cool, but someone's doing them now. I think Tidal Gardens
Mm-hmm.
is doing closed loops on all their new tanks that they're putting in. That look really cool. And I think Reef Builders did a cool one too,
Yeah.
where it's just like a Vectra mounted under the tank with like real minimal plumbing. It's cool, but I would definitely use like very heavy duty, expensive bulkheads. I wouldn't be using these ABS.
Yeah.
You need like a
PV
Schedule 80 bulkhead.
PVC
Yeah,
ones.
big boy. Yeah,
You see
if you want
Tyler
to Swiss
Gardner,
cheese.
the last video when he had the 4-inch bulkhead? You watch
Oh,
that
dude,
video?
that was crazy. That was crazy.
It's like that big around.
Crazy. It's a bulkhead they had to deliver on a pallet. Like, are you kidding me?
So hardcore. I love it.
He's nuts, dude.
I love
think Fan
that
is like
stuff.
dude, he reminds me of like the evil genius of the hobby, dude.
I love
Just sitting
listening-
back in the, dude.
I love
Oh,
listening
man.
to him talk. I don't know what it is about it. The way he speaks.
He's soothing.
It's so relaxing. I can listen to
Yeah,
him
dude,
talk all day long.
he's calm and he's very confident and he's very like
Well
easygoing.
Mhm.
Very
Yeah,
well.
and very well. Yeah, very well. That's the way to put it. He's very well spoken.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got great videos. He's up there on my list of videos I like to watch.
Yeah, he does everything. He does stuff right. Like,
Yeah.
and like more extreme.
Yeah, dude,
than
right is
most people.
Yeah, right is right is like that's like understatement of the year for Stan at Tidal Gardens. That
What
man,
is the
that-
best way possible to do this? We're gonna do it.
Yeah,
And
that's
I,
it.
I would say
Yeah,
he's
man.
he's the most well dressed man in reefing.
Yep.
I'll give him that too.
Yep.
Give him that too.
Prim and
Always
proper.
does suit him.
I know. That's awesome. Speaking of, I have to get him on again. It's been a while.
You do. He talk to him on.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, no, with closed loop, I don't know why. Like, I would love, like, especially the peninsula. I think it'd be great to have like a closed loop at the far end, just to like add flow there. But I've always
Yeah.
been too hesitant to throw drill holes in the bottom of my glass. Even though
there's
it's
much
probably
better
fine.
pumps to do that now too.
Yeah.
Those Vectros are like awesome pumps to do closed loops with. I mean, I'd almost say they're probably better closed loop pumps than they are return pumps with all the different modes that they have.
Mm-hmm.
Plus,
That,
you got your
you know, right,
battery
all the pulse
backup,
modes and everything.
pump into them.
Yeah, but they have like pulse modes built into the pumps and everything. Like it's crazy what you can do with those vector pumps. There's a lot more control on those than say like a Jabal where you just turn it to 10% or 20% or whatever,
Yeah.
and that's it. You can actually pulse with those returns, which is really neat.
Never done it, but it's nice to know they have the feature.
Yeah, like when it's set up as a return, how are you going to do that? Doesn't really make any practical sense. But as a closed loop pump, that'd be really cool. They're supposed to run really quiet, and they're supposed to run really cool too, so you can run them externally. I know, like the Jabals, when I tried to run those externally, they got a little warm to my liking.
All my return pumps are the Vectors now, so
Yeah,
because
nice.
they're quiet.
Nice.
Now, this is so funny. When I bought my original one, it was like I had the J-Bow, and it was like, I don't know why, but if I hear like some kind of little high pitched sound, like I'll fixate on it, and it'll just drive me nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And like I don't even think my wife noticed, but I heard this little tiny like super, but it was super subtle, but it was from the J-Bow pump. And it's like I didn't notice it for ages. And one day I heard it, and I could not hear it. It's all I heard was a stupid sound. So then one of my LFSs had the Vectro on sale, but it was like $400. I'm like, it's worth it. I'm like, I'm like, can I return this if it's not quieter? so he's like, okay, just don't glue any of the fittings. Like, okay. So I brought it home, and then it actually was quieter. I'm like, damn it. So then I kept it. And then I was hooked on them since then.
There you go. Yeah, like I said, you just got to know where to spend the money.
Yeah,
that's it. Once you
Spend it
find
on
it, hold on.
Gonna last.
true.
Yeah,
True that.
Find it, hold on to it. It's the equipment. You know, if you kill all your coral, the equipment's still going to be there
It's true.
for you to grow them all back again.
It's also true.
You know, so yeah, so spend wisely is what I tell people. You don't have to buy the most expensive version of everything, but spend wisely.
The other thing is too, like if you ever move or shut down a tank, don't sell your gear because
No,
it's
horrible mistake.
I know so many people that have like, you know, they sell it and they got to buy it all again. And the people that, you know, they keep their core stuff, it so easy to set up a new tank again later because you have all the heart of the system.
Yeah, that stinks, man. I still have heaters and everything, and years ago I don't use them. It's just emergency stuff, just in case.
Yep.
Just in case. But never sell your stuff because you'll be back.
I still got my Barlin Red Sea Triple Pass protein skimmer.
Yep.
20 years ago. The pump's bad. I couldn't find a replacement pump for it that would work right. So it's just stuck back underneath
Yeah, it takes a lot for me to throw something out, especially like fish tank related, dude. Like, no, because you can, like, even if something's broken, like I can usually cannibalize it for something else. God forbid I need to.
Mm-hmm.
You never know. Like, you never know. I needed last year I went on vacation. I got an auto feeder and everything set up. I forgot to buy a damn feeding ring.
Yeah.
For the auto feeder. So the food was just going to go, like, it was useless. The pellets were just going to go right down the thing. So I made one out of, like, I had, like, a bunch of leftover magnets and a piece of 2-inch PVC pipe or 3-inch PVC pipe that I cut into a circle and just glued them right onto the magnets real quick. Because I had it was from that MaxiJet power head I just showed you, the old magnet mounts for that thing. They're like 12, 13 years old. So they're not good to go in the water anymore, but if I didn't have them, I kind of would have been screwed. So I don't throw anything out. Nothing. Not fish tank.
That's okay. That's the other part of the problem, though. I do the same thing. Like I have like half my freaking shed is like hoarded with like fish tank gear.
Yeah. Occasionally you'll find something you'll be embarrassed about too. You'd be like, oh, like really? Like an Eheim, like a Whisper filter from 1996. Like this could go.
Yeah.
Like I don't need this anymore.
When you're talking about like the original MP40s, like you had the metal one. I don't think I had a metal. Maybe I had a metal one. I know I have like the old school white box, and I feel like there's like a blue one or something like that in there.
It was blue, bro. It was blue.
I think I have a blue.
It had like 3 buttons on it.
Yeah.
And a knob.
I think I have that.
Yeah. It was like anodized. It was like an anodized blue. But yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. Their pumps are cool. And most people don't realize like Ecotech was started by just like 2 dudes in PA, I think.
They hit
like that.
They hit paper.
Yeah, Yeah, that's it. So it's, that's cool. And they kind of came up like right when I started in the hobby. Most of these companies did. Like BRS, I remember talking to Ryan at BRS when he was just like a fish nerd, that just like everybody else.
Yeah.
Had no idea what he was doing. Then I got the stupid MaxiJet mods from his website that was BRS before it was BRS.
That's what.
MaxiJetmods.com. So
Nice.
it's neat. It's neat, kind of watching everything in the hobby grow up. But it's just so different now than it used to be. So different.
Yeah. That's cool though. Always
Yeah.
advancing. We went from DIY powerhead mods to wireless through glass and auto testers and all the crazy stuff that's where we're at now. Isn't it crazy?
It's incredible, man. It's nuts. It's really nuts. I remember the Apex. The reason I got it originally was because it would alert me to things while I was away from the tank.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still in sales now, but I traveled a ton when I was first getting into the business. You make a lot less and you travel a lot. So we did that, and that was pretty much the end of it.
Yeah.
So I got the Apex and didn't look back from there.
Now you're addicted.
Oh yeah.
I love it. I got my daughter. She had a Nabby big tab like right here. It was like a 19-inch.
Nice.
Nabby software. I went and I rooted the tablet and I wiped all the Nabby software off of it, and I just made it and hung it on my wall. And that's all my Apex stuff is run to a touch screen, hanging on my wall. So I didn't have to pay nothing for it. She got her use out of it, and she was done with it. She moved on to PlayStations and bigger stuff. So I was like, I got this in the closet.
Perfect.
I want to see what I can do with it. And it's worked great. It just stays on all the time right beside the tank.
Man.
So I can turn my stuff off, see my pH, all my trends and everything.
That's awesome. And now you probably look at it every time you walk by and check your stats and.
Oh yeah, it's all it's always there. I love it.
Yeah, I want to put I have a TV. I just upgraded the TV in my basement, so I want to put the smaller one like in front of all this piping hanging down.
Nice.
Just so I have like just for Apex parameters. That's it. Like no other real like practical use. I mean, I guess I could sell the TV. I'd rather hang it up and hang parameters up.
What's nice, you got Alexa too.
More fun.
You can ask Alexa for your
Yep.
parameters of your tank.
Yeah.
Ooh, I forgot about that.
I got it set up.
I
Alexa,
used to do that.
What's my parameters?
Yeah.
Exactly. I got Yeah, I have this like super old school iPad, and it wouldn't even let me install the Fusion app anymore. But the web browser version still works. But I thought I was going to do that.
That's how I run it on this. Is it don't run? It had to run it through the web browser. It don't have the like on your phone where you can black it out and have the black mode. And I can't use the app on it. But
does it log you out though once in a while, and you got to relog in?
It never
No?
logs me in.
Okay.
It
Probably-
stays in constantly.
Okay, perfect. Might be what I'll do with the old school iPad.
Yeah.
All right, boys. It's been almost 2 hours, so I think we'll probably wrap up pretty soon. But it's been fun, random reef chat.
Yeah, man. Yeah, a lot of fun. It was great.
Man, I enjoy talking reef to people. I go to work and try to talk reef. You just see you can lose them about the third or fourth sentence. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
That's what they hear out of you. Blah blah blah.
Probably.
Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, just never mind.
Where's my fish peeps?
Yeah.
100% agree.
Oh, exactly. I could talk fish up endlessly.
Or they
so.
ask you a question about your tank and you start going on blah blah. You go this and that. You got to keep the castle in. I'm like, then it's just like somebody calling my name.
Yeah. Love it. But it's true. We all understand.
I
It is.
geek out on it.
It
Man,
is.
I don't even watch usually my TV much if it's streaming YouTube, watching something. Everybody's got pretty much their videos they put out, every day of the week. You do on Wednesdays, You got Reef Automation, usually Monday, you watch that's all I like to watch. That and fishing.
Yep.
Fishing and reef tank.
Keeping fish and fishing for fish.
I
It.
consume a lot of reef related content. I do.
Yeah.
I do. It's kind of tough because like I'm not really into like the newbie stuff. Like it's kind of I don't know. But like there's so much content like all levels. I love it. I love it. I like Inappropriate Reefer, Devin. I've probably seen all your videos probably 3 times. But everybody, like all reef builders, all these podcasts that are out now, they're all great and they all have their own perspective, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And they all seem like they're trying to get different segments of the hobby, which is, you know what I'm saying, which is neat too.
Mhm.
But dude, it's like I can literally, between this and like there's one sports podcast I listen to, and that's it. Like it's Reef Tank and that's it. 24/7 is when I have free time. as far as content goes, I don't watch TV anymore. I don't really watch sports since like the pandemic kind of kicked around. I've kind of been out of sports too, really, which is odd for me. But
yeah, I've never really been in sport. I like
fish tank
MMA,
stuff's always there.
fighting. I've done Brazilian jiu-jitsu for like 20 years. So I've always liked the MMA and never been much on watching sports. I like, some boxing,
Mhm.
but I like fighting.
Yep.
Yeah.
I used to
Fish
do
tanks
that
are
years
always
ago.
there.
Yep.
I did too. I did until I was
Nice.
I graduated high school, and then I kind of got out of it as I got older.
Yeah, it was
Not
about
enough time to.
it was around
Run
the
out, run out of time. Start getting older and start getting beat up, man. I'm like,
So-
shoulder hurts, my knee hurts.
Yeah.
Stuff takes
There's
too
stuff-
long to recover these days.
Yeah.
That and time, man. Time's valuable. You got to spend it on what you really care about. And the older you get, the less time you have. I'm not that old. I'm only like 30. What year is it? 2022. I'm 38.
Yeah.
38. But I have 2 kids and a wife, so it's free time is definitely a
Limited.
premium.
Yep.
A premium, yes, for sure. So a lot of the fish tanks in my systems are kind of tailored to that. I don't want to have to touch these things every day. I really don't. I like to come down for 20 minutes, during the week,
Mhm.
and that's it. And, maybe during the weekend, I usually don't have anything to do. I'm usually down there for a couple hours, just messing around or whatever. But it's just consuming content while I'm kind of messing around with stuff down here. It's awesome to kind of just dive in deep, be surrounded by it. It's neat. It's really neat.
Yeah, it is.
I love the content game, man. I love it. I could never do it myself. That's not really like my
Yeah,
really not my deal.
it'd be hard.
I'm so thankful for all you people who do it.
Yeah.
You specifically, and everyone that puts that you guys aren't really getting you're not getting rich off this stuff. So it's cool that you guys are putting your free time into putting content out for everyone. It's awesome.
That's why I try to give every chance I get. I always try to support Devin.
Always appreciated. It's a labor of love.
Yeah, man.
So it is.
Yeah, man.
Yep.
The hobby lends itself to that. It's
Mhm.
everyone's always willing to help somebody else out in the hobby. It's really nice. It's always been that way.
Mhm.
It's really even as it gets bigger, it's like it's a tight knit hobby.
Oh,
It
half,
really is.
half
So
of my
it's-
good friends I've met through reefing is crazy.
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, man.
That's like I watched, like cryptocurrency. I watched a couple guys putting content out on cryptocurrency, doing the live streams, and man, you wouldn't believe the super chats that these guys are getting. I mean, it's like 50, 100, 200, all these people making money on cryptocurrency. I'm like, you go watch a Reef channel. These are some broke people.
Yeah.
they don't ever want to give
live
them.
stream. I saw Devin had a little sugar daddy on the last live stream.
Yeah, I seen that. Yeah,
That was
I
good
think
for you. I was happy for you there.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Goldslinger was a very kind one that day.
Yeah.
Yep. That was like
That's-
a record.
You got
Yeah.
to support the guy. That's
Mhm.
I enjoy watching it. I want to support you as much as I can financially. Give a little bit, and every little bit counts. Even if it's just $1 or so,
Yep. All adds up.
it adds up,
Yeah,
and
man.
I enjoy watching it.
Thanks. Well, I thank you boys for coming on today. Much appreciated. It's kind of a fun random reef chat. And,
Anytime, dude. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
yep. John Reefer Vermont, shout out again. Thank you for the super chat. And everyone who watching, if you guys enjoyed it, as always, hit that like button.
Smash the like, man.
Smash the like
Subscribe.
button. Hit that
it up.
subscribe. And yeah, we'll see you guys on Monday's video or next week's live stream.
Later, Dev. Have a good
Later.